But I have a judge who is a hater of Donald Trump. A hater. He's a hater. His name is Gonzalo Curiel, who happens to be, we believe, Mexican, which is great. I think that's fine. You know what? I think the Mexicans are going to end up loving Donald Trump when I give all these jobs, okay?
Well, Donald Trump is not slowing down on his attacks against a judge in the Trump University case. Trump now telling the Wall Street Journal that Judge Gonzalo Curiel's Mexican heritage presents a, quote, absolute conflict. Judge Curiel was born in Indiana to Mexican immigrants, and Trump says, quote, I'm building a wall. It's an inherent conflict of interest. And earlier today, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan speaking out against Donald Trump's comments on the judge. Take a listen.
Look, the comment about the judge the other day just was out of left field from my mind. It's reasoning I don't relate to. I completely disagree with the thinking behind that. And so he clearly says and does things I don't agree with. And I've had to speak up on time to time when that has occurred, and I'll continue to do that if that's necessary. I hope it's not.
I like the gavel. The On the Record legal panel is here. Former homicide detective and criminal defense attorney Ted Williams and former prosecutor Katie Fang. So much to discuss. People are abuzz about this, Ted. Not too happy, saying it was kind of, out of line to mention the judge's ethnicity, the judge's heritage, and then to suggest that there was a conflict of interest. How do you call it?
Well, I would like to ask Mr. Trump, have you no shame, sir? You are running to be commander-in-chief, not thug-in-chief or intimidator-in-chief. To call this judge out, you're attacking the rule and the fabric of our society, meaning the rule of law. What are you going to do if you get a black judge in a discrimination case? You're going to ask him to remove himself, or let's say you got a woman. This is very troubling, and I would expect more, and I would hope that at some stage Mr. Trump will act matured and walk this back.
Okay, Katie, so obviously, as you see, emotions are running very high in this regard. We're all, have been officers of the court, respect the rule of law, the courtrooms, the best judicial system, in the world. How do you see this? Is this something that he's got a leg to stand on? Do you think that there is potentially any kind of conflict of interest other than the one that might have been created now?
Absolutely no conflict of interest on the part of Judge Curiel, and frankly, Trump's lawyers haven't filed what they need to do, which is a motion to recuse the judge. That is conspicuously absent in this case. The absence of that filing suggests that Trump is just talking out of where he talks out of, that we all know. Frankly, Kimberly and Ted, I'm worried that Donald Trump's going to hear me say this, criticize him, and say I should run back to the rice paddies with my chopsticks to make my kimchi. At this point in time, he has no legal basis to challenge this judge, and at this point, he's doing something very stupid. Why are you going to anger the judge that rules in your case? If you think he's had bad rulings up until now that have hurt his position in this major fraud case, he's got another thing coming.
All right, so Ted, what can the judge do at this point? Like, listening to all these comments, can he put some kind of admonition and say, gag order on the case, et cetera? I mean, I don't know.
Well, Kimberly, the judge is in between the rock and the hard place. He's damned if he do and damned if he doesn't. But if I were the plaintiffs in this case, I would file a motion with the judge to gag, for a gag order. I would then, if I was the judge in this case, and this is one reason why I will never be a federal judge, because I would have his butt before me, and I would read him the riot act and tell him that he will do no more talking as it pertains to this case in my courtroom.
I mean, really, Katie, when you think about it, when you've got a case in front of a judge, you might want to throttle back a little bit because you don't want to poke the cage or poke the bench, especially if they're going to make rulings about you.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and you know what? I'm kind of wondering why his own lawyers haven't tried to reel him in, but frankly, Trump had the same problem down here in Miami. He had active litigation against a female opposing counsel. He doesn't limit it to just the judge. He criticized her about doing breastfeeding or needing to breastfeed or take a break during his deposition. The man knows no limits. He has no gag order, and frankly, I disagree with Ted. If the judge brings him in and he orders him to shut up, that is going to be grounds for him to try to recuse the judge. Why fan the fuel? Or why fuel the flames? Just leave it alone and do what the judge is doing, which
Katie,
is staying respectfully silent.
You're not wrong. But this is the sad commentary. We are about to pick an American president, and we've got this man screwing around with Trump University, trying to intimidate and disrespect the judge.